Did I just come over here from a different filming location that was literally right here in the exact same outfit from my last video to record the intro to this one? Yeah, I did. All right, the goal we are aiming for this time, I have to read a classic that I am reading with my mom and my sister, which is over there. I'll grab it in a second. I want to read 2 bubblegum pulls, and I want to read 2 library books, and then 1 digital book because my digital library is getting excessive. So I think I'll start with the bubblegum pulls, and then I'll pick my library books afterwards, and then my digital book after that. I can better like infiltrate, that's not the word. I can better integrate library books I want to read into what I've already had chosen for me to read. The first non-negotiable one though is The Tenant of Wildfell by Bronte. I'm currently going through classics, The Count of Monte Cristo, for example, with my mother and my sister, and this was the next one that my cat actually pulled out of the jar we have. All right, the part I'm scared of because there are some series in here that have a lot of books in them that I do own, and we'll have to go, well, unless I DNF, but it's a little scary. Okay, can I do this on camera? All right, I don't know how I did this on camera last time because I lost the footage, so we're gonna do this method and, you know, hope it works. Let me put this one down. Oh, it's loud. Hello? Oh, it's because I had to tip it. Okay. Pink. What are you? All right. Oh no. Is this a fragile enchantment? Oh no. Oh, it sure is. Sorry, I struggled a little bit. Yeah. Right. Okay, hold on. Right. So Allison, Saft, and I don't have a great track record, and this one does not have a great rating on Goodreads, and like I'm a low rater to start with. I tend to not disagree exactly with Goodreads ratings, except for the fact that I tend to rate lower than Goodreads ratings. But I got it in a book box. I don't even know how long ago this was. But what year is this from? Does this not say which Fairy Loot it is? I mean, it's 2024, but it just says an exclusive Fairy Loot edition. Okay. I guess it was like one of the 2024 boxes, but it's just such a pretty book. Oh, it matches. I didn't even realize. I'm pretty sure I just wrote these out like on random colors and I didn't color match, but this is cute. All right, and pick number 2. I gotta figure out a better setup for this. I probably won't. Not gonna lie. All right, this one is blue. Oop. Get it. Priory of the Orange Tree. Oh, that's a big one. Is that even true? Yeah. I'm 8 books behind on my Goodreads goal. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna drop Starian. Oh no. Okay, he's good. He's good. Okay, I have to like reorganize this because this is a big book. Okay. Excited because sapphic, but also terrified because I've heard it reads a lot faster than you think it would, despite how large it is. But yay for Saphics and Dragons, but oh no for my Goodreads goal. Okay, since those 2 are chosen, I'm going to curate the 2 library books around that. Do I have a pink and a yellow one? That would be cool if I could do like a pink. Well, I guess it's orange. Is that yellow or orange? That's like yellowy orange. Let me see if I have 2. Hold on. All right, I do in fact have a couple options. I have A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan for pink, and I have But Not Too Bold by Hache, I already forgot how to pronounce it, Hache Pueyo for pink. And then for like orangey, see, okay, this isn't orange, this is red. So maybe this one is a no, but the only other orange one I have is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I guess this is the orange one. I know, why am I reading it if I don't even really want to read it? Why do I even have it on my shelves? Library book or not. I've just been meaning to read it for a very long time. And I know I should go for Not Too Bold, but Not Too Bold because it's very short, but I really want to read A Touch of Jen. It's very pink. I'm gonna go with A Touch of Jen and On the Road by Jack Kerouac. So we'll see how long this ends up actually taking me. Was that a sentence? We'll see how long this ends up actually taking me. Yeah, did I say that? And then a digital book. Did I run out to the car to grab this because I had forgotten it in the car this morning? Yes I did. If I'm a little winded, it's because I scurried. Let's see, what do I have digitally that I would like to read? This is not connected to the Wi-Fi. Oh, you know what? I do want to continue with the Shady Hollow series. So I think what I'm going to do is I have the digital copy of the next book in the series. Let me get that. No, I don't want chapter 20. Ooh, no. I want the cover, please. I think I'm going to read Cold Clay as my digital book. Might be a good break between, you know, some of the classics that I'm going to be reading. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay. Cool. Okay. So this, with the addition of Cold Clay, is what we're looking at for this reading vlog. I might have to round off the year with like a super quick, super short reading vlog of just the shortest books I can find. I think I'm going to start with A Fragile Enchantment and just get that out of the way. Oh, my closet's open. Don't look at that. Okay. I just want to get this over real quick because I have to leave in about a second. But I'm about a little bit less than halfway through A Fragile Enchantment and I don't like it. Like at all. Also, I lost a nail. Don't look at that either. Just don't look at either of these. There you go. There's not really a way to put it nicely. This is just poorly written. Like it's bad. So we're following our main character. Okay, is it like Niall where it's Niam? How do you pronounce her name? I feel like Niam isn't right. I'll have to look up how to pronounce her name later. We're following her. She has traveled to court she's a seamstress. She has traveled to court to create outfits for the prince's wedding. And I think my cat. She's creating outfits for both the prince and his betrothed, who is a princess from another land that he is being forced into marriage with. She can weave magic into her clothing that she makes. But so far that hasn't really been explained. Magic exists in this world, and at the moment they're like, I think it's based on Ireland and England, and she's from the magical Ireland and he's from the magical England, and she's traveled to the magical England, even though the magical England is just like regular England and has like caused a famine and all this shit. So essentially she's going against her family's wishes doing this. Or maybe it's just her grandmother doing something for the prince of the nation that like they call it the blight, but it's essentially like the potato famine. I think they both can do magic, but she is inflicted with some kind of sickness that, from what I understand, anybody with magic can have, but so far only she has been shown to have the sickness. I don't think we've met anybody else that has the sickness, which I guess cuts her life short at some point, because she keeps talking about how like it's impacting her lifespan and shit like that. But we don't it's not really explained, and we don't see anybody else with it, so I'm kind of confused about that. It's what causes, I guess, the white streak in her hair. You can't really see it here. You can see it better on the other cover. He keeps going between personalities, which is really bothering me, because he starts off really surly and annoyed with her for like existing at all, and then he like walks into the room and all of a sudden he's like shy and blushing and all this shit, and I'm like, okay, don't like her at all. She has the personality of a wet paper towel and has already like cause a serious blunder for the prince that like the king is just ignoring, which I feel like is like unrealistic, but whatever. Honestly, it's just really boring. It reads a lot like a fan fiction for a fandom that I don't belong to, and I don't know anything about this fandom. I'm just, you know, checking out this fan fiction because it's not even good. It's just like there, and I have no idea what's going on. I don't know any of the characters. She has no personality, because I guess you're supposed to know the personality beforehand, and he is there. The only character I kind of like is his betrothed, whose name is escaping me at the moment. She's kind of cool. That's about it. This is really, I don't even want to finish this, but I think I'm going to try to anyway, just because it's pretty. But just this once, maybe I won't DNF anything. God, I wish you were good though. You're so pretty. Okay, it's pronounced Neem. The blight was caused by Kit, who is our main male character, love interest, whatever. His father caused the blight, and there's a character whose name is escaping me, even though I just read it, who's like a lady Whistledown type Bridgerton character in here who writes a gossip column and is contacting Neem, something like that. I'm still not even halfway into it yet, and I'm still not having the best time, but yeah, I guess we'll see. It was in fact a 1 star, especially after that ending. It was just such an unsatisfying ending for all that it put me through. I mean, if you're here for the romance, it's probably not quite as unsatisfying as it is for me, who is almost never here for the romance. So many things were unexplained. I hated the twist. I thought it was kind of pointless. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to like the narrative overall. Like I kind of understand where it was going, but also at the same time, not what I was hoping for. So 1 star, getting rid of that. So now I think I'll start on A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan and The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Bronte. I don't know what either of these are about. It says, Remy and Alicia, a couple of insecure service workers, are not particularly happy together, but they are bound by a shared obsession with Jen, a beautiful former co-worker of Remy's who now seems to be following her bliss as a globe-trotting jewelry designer. Their entire relationship revolves around fantasies of Jen, whose every Instagram caption, outfit, and new age mantra they know by heart. Imagine their confused excitement when they run into Jen in the flesh and she invites them on a surfing trip to the Hamptons with her wealthy boyfriend and their group. They try a little too hard to fit into Jen's exalted social circle, but a violent desire and class resentment bubble beneath the surface of this beachside paradise threatens to erupt. A small disturbance escalates into outright horror, and we find ourselves tumbling with Remy and Alicia in an uncanny alternate reality, one shaped by their most unspeakable, deviant, and intoxicating fantasies. Okay, right. And then the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, I also don't know anything about. It says Gilbert Martin is fascinated by Helen Graham, the beautiful and enigmatic woman who has recently moved into Wildfell Hall. He's swift to befriend her and steadfastly refutes the local gossip, calling her character and behavior into question, yet he soon has cause to regret his infatuation, and grave doubts and misgivings begin to arise in his mind. It is only when Helen presents Gilbert with her diary and instructions to read it that the shocking truth about her past becomes clear. Okay, so I'm reading 2 books about strange women, I guess. Or women with pasts. I like strange women. Okay. And I'll probably check back in when I'm about halfway through these. So, one question about A Touch of Jen. Oh, there goes my bookmark. What's Jake Gyllenhaal doing here? What? I finished A Touch of Jen, and I'm going to give it 1.5 stars. I don't even know what to say about this one, to be totally honest. It's kind of broken up, in my mind at least, in 2 sections. Like, there's a very specific event that happens in it, and there's like a before that event, and then there's after that event. Before that event, I was invested, I was interested, I wanted to know what was going to happen, because they're both obsessed with Jen. What could come of that? They're both like, they go on a trip with Jen and her boyfriend and a couple of other people, and it seems like it's going to culminate into something that's just like a little batshit, which is what I was expecting from this. And maybe with the horror was their obsession with Jen and the fact that she like barely knows these people. I mean, she worked with Remy for a little while, but like the person she is now is not the person Remy remembers, and that bothers him throughout like the entire book. I thought it was going to be something different, but then the event happens. I was still kind of on board because we were going through some motions in the wake of said event that I was like, okay, this is a little strange, but like it's got to go somewhere from here. And I thought it was going to go further into that obsession, and I guess it kind of did, but at the same time, something happened that I'm just so confused about where it came from. And then the very, very last bit. What? I'm so confused. Yeah, so 1.5 stars. I wish it had stuck with the obsession section and like not done a certain event. Or if it had done that event, like it did, gone a different direction and not like thrown me into the water without a paddle? No, throw me, what is that saying? I was drowning. Now the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, I'm only about, technically I've started chapter 5, but I switched over to the digital version because I forgot to bring this with me when I was out today. Technically I'm farther into chapter 5. I'm enjoying this so far. Essentially what happens is a woman arrives in this house with her son after the death of her husband, and we're following the perspective of a guy who is telling his friend about this whole event. From what I understand, eventually it's going to switch over from his letters, he's writing letters to his friend, to the main lady's diaries or something, because essentially there's like this mystery surrounding her and her husband's death and why she acts the way she acts. She comes over to the main guy's family's house at one point with her son. She hasn't been out visiting because she doesn't want to leave her son alone, because her only person of service, the person helping her with the house, is elderly, and the child is like 3 or 4. So she takes her son everywhere with her, and she doesn't like to be separated from her son. We don't really know why. I'm assuming that's going to be explained further. It's very loud in that litter box. I'm assuming that's going to be explained further when we get to her journal. Essentially, she comes off as like a radical woman who is trying to abstain her son from an early age from developing the vices that were commonplace of men at the time, like drinking. There was something about opium. They break out like wine, and she says that her son feels sick at the smell of it or something. He's like 3 or 4. She's starting early to keep him from developing these problems that men of the century are like known to have. It's just like commonplace. They're going to end up being raging alcoholics, which just how it was at the time. She's kind of viewed as a crazy lady because of it, especially in the main character's, the guy we're following's eyes, because she is not discrediting. She's looking down on men and the way they currently act in society in front of him and his whole family, saying like in the education system, women are not treated fairly compared to men. Men get all these opportunities and get to learn all these different things, and certain things are expected of them. But if those things present in a woman, she's ostracized. Oh, that's right, she's a painter, which wasn't a common occupation by women because they cannot have formal training at this time, whereas men can. So that probably ties into it, actually. But yeah, essentially she shows up, she's like, I'm raising my son this way. If you don't like it, not my problem. And they're like, yeah, you're a little strange, but we're gonna keep an eye on you because we want to see what happens. I also want to see what happens. So I'm assuming there's a connection between her husband and the way she's raising her son. But yeah, I'm gonna go pick up Cold Clay now that I finished A Touch of Jen. It's relatively short. I think I'll get through it pretty fast. Okay, so I finished Cold Clay and The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Cold Clay I ended up giving a 2 because I didn't like it as much as the first book, and I also really didn't like just like the whole plot of that one. It felt too easy, and I also did not like the way Vera handles her relationships, which will make sense if you've read it. Yeah, so that one I'm going to continue on with the series because I really want to see where it goes. You know, if the authors like improve as they go with the whole murder mystery thing. But that one was a 2. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, though, I gave a 3.5. This didn't quite hit for me as much as other pieces from the same time period do. I just wasn't as engaged with this one as I am in others. And I don't want to like pit her against her sisters because historically it's always been like that. Overall, I had a decent time. I preferred the letters part of this more than I enjoyed the journal part of this. It was really interesting seeing like a peek into society at the time, though, from the eyes of somebody who wasn't hesitating to show what it was really like, and it was not like the glamorized version that I'm sure a lot of people at the time would have preferred it to be shown. I've also started on The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and very quickly switched over to a digital version because this is unluggable. I can't take this places with me, but I want to keep reading it, so digital it is. I am currently 78 pages into it, and there's a lot happening. I'm trying to like think. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait, and I don't know how to pronounce these properly. Is there a pronunciation guide in the back? Because I know there's a glossary. Okay, no, so I'm probably going to be pronouncing these wrong. There's Aad, Loth, and Tane as our 3 perspectives that I can remember at this moment. Which is interesting because only 2 of them are mentioned on the back. That might be because it's divided into East and West, and Aad is representing the west side while Tane is representing the east side, and Loth is kind of in the middle of the 2 of them. Actually, why is he not mentioned in the back? So Aad is integrated into a court that worships different gods than what her homeland worships. And in this new, the kingdom of Innis, is very firm about their beliefs and how they call him the Saint came to be, along with the direct lineage of Queen Sabran, who is the queen that Aad has become what is it called? Oh, Lady in Waiting. She's a lady in waiting to the queen, who is another plot point. She needs to have a daughter in order to continue the line, and she hasn't done that yet. We have no idea why. They haven't told us why yet, but that's her entire thing, is she has to secure her bloodline by getting pregnant. It opens with her, I guess, being convinced to look into a prince of another region for marriage. What they don't know, though, is that Aad is killing assassins that are hunting down the queen. I don't think they've mentioned yet why the queen is being assassinated exactly, or people are trying to attempt to assassinate the queen. But Aad is the one killing the assassins, but they can't know that because if they find out she's a killer, that goes against their doctrine, and she'll be killed herself. So she's doing that in secret. She's hiding the fact that she doesn't actually follow the doctrine of the land that she's currently in. She worships a different god. Or it's not really a different god. That god is still in their scripture, but it's just a different position, and she is presented in a different way. Oh, but that's blasphemy. She can't admit that happens. Tane, we haven't gotten a whole lot about yet. Essentially, so far, all we know is she has come across a stranger in the ocean right off the bat. He's not supposed to be there because outsiders are not like allowed to travel between the lands at the moment. He washes up on the shore. He's very clearly not from the east. She hides him and then goes off to her ceremony because she's going to become a dragon rider. Dragon tamer? Dragon rider? Is it a dragon rider? Oh yeah, dragon rider. Okay, cool. And so far we've had her ceremony where she's been like sorted into where she's going to further learn to do whatever she's going to do, which is be a dragon rider. I haven't got to the part where she's forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Haven't gotten there yet. It does seem like even though dragons are like a staple to Eastern culture, at least, like maybe also Western culture, all of a sudden they're like popping out of nowhere. It has to do with not the chosen one, it's like the evil person that their deity defeats and sends them back like into the bowels of hell or whatever. It's not hell, but like, you know, sorry, I just can't think today. Nameless one. That's what Nameless one. Okay, that's why I couldn't remember the name. The Nameless one is connected to the dragons that are like springing up out of nowhere, and it's kind of like a sign that he is rising. That's about all I know so far. We also have Loth, who is from the Western Kingdom, very close friends with the Queen and with Aed, but he's been sent, I guess, over to the east. I'm not entirely, there's so many names, I'm getting a little confused. He's being sent as a spy on a different kingdom, along with somebody named Kit. Do I know who Kit is? Not really. And yep, that's about it so far. Okay, so I am 324 pages into Priory of the Orange Tree at the moment. I like it, but it's not, I only really care about, shoot, I looked up how to say the name. Aed, I think? I only care about her parts at the moment, which is West. I don't care about Loth. I don't care about Ruse. What's his first name? Niklaes? And I don't care about Tane. Like at all. I don't care what's going on anywhere else. I want to stay with Aed and just figure out what's going on over there. I know it all ties together. I mean, it has to, right? And I know it all has something to do with something else in there, but all I care about are the West chapters, and everything else is just so slogging right now. One thing I will say though is a couple of characters have been killed. I'm like 40% of the way in, I guess, give or take. And a couple of characters have already been killed off, and I thought I would care a little bit more, and I don't. So maybe that's a me thing, but they were killed off so early that I just they were gone, and I was like, okay, let's go on. But since that's going a little bit slow, I'm going to probably read like a chapter a day for a little while or something like that, and start on the Road by Jack Kerouac. Pulsating with the rhythms of 50s underground American jazz, illicit drugs, and the mystery and promise of the open road, Jack Kerouac's classic novel of freedom and longing defined what it meant to be beat, quote unquote beat, and has inspired every generation since its initial publication in 1957. Based on Kerouac's adventures with Neil Cassidy, On the Road tells the story of two friends whose 4 cross-country road trips are a quest for meaning and true experience. I know a lot of people love this book. I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. It probably won't, but... And we'll circle back to this at some point. I'll probably circle back when I finish both of these, because I don't know how much more I'm going to have to say about this at the moment, considering I'm 40% of the way in and I don't really have a whole lot to say, period. But I'll probably have something to say about this, so see you when I finish something, I guess. I lied. I'm back with a relatively short update. I'm DNFing On the Road. I got maybe 28% of the way into it. I lost my bookmark. Give or take. I'm bored. I hate the characters in this. I don't care enough to try. This is absolutely not my kind of classic. The way he talks about other people he's meeting on this road trip. Wow. No. And then the other short update, I have like, you'll see me again real soon because I have about 200 pages left in the Priory of the Orange Tree, and it's not going as well as I hoped it would. Unless this surprises me in those last 200 pages, I don't think I'm going to have great things to say. Wow, my hair is really sticking up, huh? This should have been a duology, if not a trilogy. That was like my entire thought process throughout a majority of this book. I got through the start, was it even like part 1? It might have been part 1 and then a little bit of part 2, or it might have just been part 1, but I feel like, God, this was such a long book. It was just part 1 then. Okay, yeah, so part 1 I would say was really good. I think it set up things well. It didn't exactly explain all of the characters. Aed had probably, I know I keep saying her name differently every single time. I'm still not entirely sure how to pronounce it correctly because I've seen a couple different ones. Aed had the most character development throughout everybody in this entire book. However, she also had the most at the start. You get more of her story, more of her background, more of her plot line. And I actually enjoyed that. I thought it was fun going through all of the little political and royalty bits and all of that, and learning the difference between her culture and the culture that is so similar to hers, but basically outlaws her culture despite being, you know, the same thing but in a different font kind of. But then it just kind of did that and then kept going throughout the entire book. I don't know if I missed something, but it felt like maybe I did miss something because I went through a lot of the last 2/3 of the book kind of confused about certain aspects that were never brought back around, or like weren't explained well, or I must have missed something. As usual, my biggest qualm with this was the pacing. The pacing was so bad. And then not only was the pacing bad, you kind of didn't really get to know most of the characters. You kind of did, but at the same time, it's like you would learn things about them and then it would never be relevant again. I think the only character that kind of had like bits that kept going throughout the entire like story was Nicholas. And okay, and also Ed. But like, I feel like Nicholas is the only one that like, his whole story had to do with the rest of the story throughout the entire book. Everybody else, what? There was just, oh my god, especially near the end, there was just something that happened at the end. And I was like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? It had to do with Ayad and Sabran and Loth too, actually. Megan Loth. Just something came out of so left field at the end of the book that I can't mention. 2 stars. Almost 1 star. But the first part of the book was so good that I have to give it 2 stars. But if it weren't for that first part of the book, it would have been a 1 star. Not even a 1.5 star, 1 star. I wanted more of Tane's training. I like school settings. That's why I like the Poppy War a lot, because the whole aspect of them training in the school setting was a lot of fun. It's always fun for me. We didn't get a whole lot of that. Once she was picked to be a dragon rider, she got a little bit of training and then we kind of moved on with things. Which, speaking of, now that I think about it, the person who is her like arch nemesis that is featured in the start of the book, did he ever come back around? There were some characters that died, and while their deaths impacted me a little, okay, one character death impacted me a little bit, the rest of them I was just kind of like, okay, see ya. They weren't as impactful as I think they should have been. Sorry, I'm still thinking about, did he show up? The guy she was like training against, who seemed like he was going to have such a big part in this. Oh, here comes Harley. Oh, Harley. Okay, sorry, my cat knocked us a little off kilter. I completely lost my train of thought too. If nothing else, the pacing in this was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I am so bad with pacing. If it's a badly paced book, I just can't always, Harley, please. I can't always get past that. Are we laying down now? It's a little crooked, but we're just gonna have to work with it. So yeah, that was probably the biggest disappointment of the entire year, because I had been so hyped for this. Lesbians and dragons. That's all you have to say to me. But there were so few dragons, and I am very much not a romance person. But the romance in this, I had some issues with it. One, it kind of came out of left field. 2, it happened at a point that I don't think it should have happened, considering the condition of one of the women in the relationship. The culmination there at that time, I don't know if that was really the best time to do that, but that's me. And then something happens where they get separated. For like a hot second there, I completely forgot that the other person in this relationship even existed. And she is a major character to the entire plot, and I just kind of forgot she existed because we weren't mentioning her. We were so focused on other things, to the point where I lost my train of thought again. This could have been so much more, and it was so much more in my mind than it actually ended up being. So I can see why a lot of people like it, but it was not for me. And let me go get my notebook and I'll do my wrap up. Okay, a little bit of a sideways wrap up. We've got, that's not the right page. We had a 3.5, a 2 star, a 1 star, another 2 star, a DNF at 28%, and a 1.5 star. And that's that. I have to go catch up on my reading goal now with all of these. A spoiler alert for what's coming next. I have to get through all of these and a couple of others in an attempt to catch up on my reading goal before I have to read like a 1,000-page book for the end of the year. Bye!